Hello again, this is Omoniyi Adenusi. It's time to talk about the history of another project of mine. This time, we're going into the history of my movie, Omoniyi Adenusi Powtoon Wars. This movie was in production for a total of 4 years. There were several hiatuses during production, the longest one lasting from February to December 2020, when I temporarily left the movie to work on the adventures of Omni and Javier, which I also made a history video on. This movie follows me, Javier Corona Lopez, and Denise as we venture into the world of Powtoon to stop a dead horse, Alex Minudaka, from bringing the website to an end. The movie was first announced in April 2018 as Omoniyi Adenusi the Movie, produced by the newly founded Powtoon Films, which I viewed as an unofficial successor to Blue Sky Studios after the studio was shut. You know what happened to them. Production began on Powtoon.com shortly after. The movie went through a drastic story change in May 2019, and production delays led to the film's release being delayed multiple times. The film was finally released on May 27, 2022. Powtoon Wars was to be followed up by Nelson Family Vacation, the second film from Powtoon Films that was aiming for a release on May 26, 2023, but due to certain updates on Powtoon that led to my retirement from the website, the film was scrapped, leaving only less than 1 minute of the film. Nelson Family Vacation would have been a fun movie to work on, even if it would have had a story as thin as something like Migration. Let's begin! On April 2nd, 2018, less than a year after I started making YouTube videos, I announced that a movie featuring me was in development. It was to be a co-production between Warner Animation Group and Powtoon Films, with distribution handled by Warner Bros. Pictures, and a release date of July 13th, 2018, a mere 3 months after its announcement because I seriously thought I would finish it in time. On April 3rd, 2018, I released a teaser trailer. Funny thing is, the teaser came out the day after the film was announced, and I actually worked on the teaser before I did so with the actual film. You would think that I started making this movie beforehand. The teaser was subsequently deleted from YouTube. Another teaser was uploaded to YouTube in April 2018 and was also deleted soon after. In February, prior to this, I actually started working on a movie featuring YouTuber Austin Dickerson, titled Austin Dickerson the Movie, produced by Powtoon Films and distributed by 20th Century Fox. Shortly after that, I cancelled it. Here's what's left of it.
That was a good episode of regular show. I'll call Omoniyi Adenusi to see if he wants to play games with me.
Hello?
Hi, it's me, Austin Dickerson. Do you want to go to my house and play games with me?
Yes, but I can't right now. I'm getting some breakfast.
Okay.
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
I created this when I was 10 to 11 years old, when I was still new to Powtoon, which explains the simplicity and the lack of music. The film begins with Austin in his room. He calls me on the phone asking me if I would like to play video games at his house. In Omoniyi Adenusi the Movie, Alex Minudaka and her robot sidekick Ro will plan to destroy and subsequently rule the world. Me, Javier, and other YouTube users, the Furby88, Austin Dickerson, Denise the Lego Batman Girl, Red Bird, and Michaela Broadway have to foil Alex's plans and save the world. The movie starts off with me having breakfast, going outside, and going back inside to go on my computer. Red Bird watches an episode of Gaming Historian on TV and goes downstairs to have breakfast. His kitchen looks exactly like mine, because laziness. The Gaming Historian video I used was The Birth of Scrolling, a short video less than 90 seconds long. I used that video and another one of his short videos for 2 of my Omoniyi network continuities that I uploaded in 2018, resulting in those videos being taken down due to copyright in August 2020. Then, there's this pointless scene where Austin turns on the TV to an airing of The Buzz on Maggie and then changes the channel to SpongeBob. I first heard about The Buzz on Maggie in 2018 and I planned to watch the show during my Thanksgiving break that year, but I ended up hating it. Austin hated this show as well. Then, we are introduced to Alex Minudaka, who gets the totally not generic evil idea to rule the world with her robot sidekick Robo. Meanwhile, Denise comes to my house. There was a scene where we both watched Codename Kids Next Door, with the episode of that show being Operation Flavor. Then, we go to Powtoon Theaters with Austin, and wait, why the hell is a yellow triangle-shaped bird running the concession stand? Then, we go to Powtoon Theaters with Austin, where we meet up with Javier, Red Bird, and the Furby88. Alex and Robo bomb many locations around the globe, the first being Powtoon Theaters. The movie theater is blown up and Alex reveals herself as the perpetrator. We get blasted away by Robo's fire blaster, and Alex goes to an ice cream stand run by Cookie, yes, from Codename Kids Next Door. Cookie has no ice cream left. Alex, being the bratty young woman that she is, commands her to get her ice cream, so Cookie leaves the other main characters of Kids Next Door to deal with Alex. The users fall right in front of Michaela Broadway, who joins us on our mission to stop Alex. We get blasted by Robo again, but this time we enter a dark world
where there is lava and volcanoes.
Nah, I don't see any lava or volcanoes here. Just laziness. There's another pointless scene where I eat a poison cake, which doesn't kill me, and Alex kicks me into a mountain on an island.
Do you want some cake?
Cake? Sure.
That cake was poisonous.
The gang has to get through 6 locations in order to fight Alex and Robo. The first world is Spring Island, where the gang has to get through without stepping on one of the hidden springs. They meet a user named Spongy Think Productions who talks like he's high on alcohol.
Hello guys, I am Spongy Think Productions. I thought I saw Omoniyi Adenusi zooming by. Then he crashed into that mountain.
Alex drops the TV in front of us to slow us down. The TV first shows static, and then it shows a black screen with a white portal and text saying specifically to go into it. I foolishly jump into the portal, where Alex beats me up and kicks me into a cannon from which I get blown into the loud house! Alex throws Javier into the school where the Australian TV show Little Lunch was filmed. Little Lunch was Javier's favorite show at the time. The other users get launched into space by a giant spring, and they manage to land back on solid ground without hurting themselves at all. If this movie was more realistic, they would obviously die from falling from such a great height. Originally, the gang held onto the broken handle of the net, bounced on the spring again, and jumped off the handle before going too high. Basically, I looked at a scene that had at least a little bit of quality writing and I was like, nah, this scene makes no sense. Let's trash it in favor of an even more ridiculous scene. Alex proceeds to react like a spoiled child when the gang survives the fall. No. And then she gets tangled inside the net when it falls on her. The second location is Video Game City, where I get captured by Robo and Javier and the Furby88 have to save me. The game is limited to 2 players. If that limit is exceeded, the game would glitch out and eventually crash, deleting anyone still inside it. Sound familiar?
Whoa, hey Ralph, you can't go in there! They're gonna reboot the game and anything that doesn't belong in there will be deleted!
Yeah, and if I don't get her out of there, Vanellope's gonna die!
The game I get captured in is actually the Game Boy Advance game Hi Puffy Amiyumi Kaznapped.
Okay, we're in the game. So, all I need to do in this section is walk through that door. That's too high.
I'll try. We'll get to the end in no time. Oh no, it's an enemy. I'll just walk behind. Oh no, I got caught. Come on, let's advance.
I wonder if the gang are doing fine.
They should be.
Oh, that's a lot of enemies. Let's do our special jam session. We will knock them out. Take this, you hunk of junk. Oh no.
Oh no.
No! Hey! Stop it, you piece of junk! No! No! No!
Hey, I think I hear screaming.
Oh no.
Wow. That was a loud explosion. And now the entire sky is covered with smoke.
Now, let's get out of here.
This is where we meet up with Drinky, Drunky, Zack, and JoJo, who are parodies of Ami, Yumi, Kaz, and Julie, characters from the Cartoon Network series Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi. Drinky and Drunky are part of the group Poppy Drinky Drunky. They live in the third location called Parody City, which as you can see here stays true to its name. Parody City is filled with numerous spoofs of TV shows. The gang enters a show called Diana the Explorer. You don't have to be a super genius to know what that is a parody of. And Drinky teams up with a boy named Ryan to take down Ignonaut and from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, who stole a treasure chest with quote unquote help from Alex. This is followed by the entirety of a video from a YouTube user called Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi Rules 2001. After receiving a copyright strike in November 2018 from Darkstorm SSR Productions for re-uploading one of his videos without permission, I added a disclaimer right before the Omoniyi the Explorer video came in. And no, I did not get permission from them.
Hey guys, this is Omoniyi Adenusi. I just wanted to let you know that the next scene contains a lot of content from a user named Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi Rules 2001. The video is called Omoniyi the Explorer, The Legend of the Lost Treasure. Credit to the user for making the video. I'll put the user in the end credits. Okay, let's start.
I'll put the user in the end credits. Way to kill the fourth wall. Also, it's redundant to say credit to the user for making the video and then say I'll put the user in the end credits afterward. It's repetitive to say credit to the user for making the video and then add I'll put the user in the end credits. It's repetitive to say also it's redundant to say credit to the user for making the video and then say I'll put the user in the end credits afterward and then say it's repetitive to say credit to the user for making the video and then add I'll put the user in the end credits afterward. It's repetitive to The fourth world is Quickie World. Almost the entire scene was just sped up gameplay of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, followed by a technical difficulty screen and episodes of Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi, Little Lunch, and the first part of the movie sped up in reverse. The fifth is Disintegrate Land, where they have to escape the area before it disappears, which would result in the group's demise. The sixth and final world is Elimination Center, named after my character Elimination series. This is where they fight a user named Marcus Riley who possesses copyright strike stickers. If 3 of them stick on anyone, it would result in their death. This would all culminate in a large battle between the group and Alex. The first fight ended with Javier falling into Megabox City and meeting a guy named Charlie. Charlie gives Javier a tour of the city and they go to the Mega Block City buffet with Charlie's friend Brian. I wake up back in my room and set out to find my friends and save the world, set to TikTok by Kesha.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
But I realize that my house is now on the brink of tipping over above a huge crater, which I fall into. A user named FunFan23, who saves people in danger and has the ability to fly, is alerted of this, so he flies into the crater and saves me before my house falls into it. There would have been a scene where Mega Block City gets destroyed and Charlie helps Javier escape, but production on the film ended before it could come into fruition. The gang would fight Alex a second time with help from the kids next door and Poppy Drinky Drunky. The gang wins the second battle, all of the damage is reversed, and Drinky, Drunky, and Zack reveal themselves as Ami, Yumi, and Cash from Hi Hi Puffy on the Yumi. At the end, Ami and Yumi perform the show's theme song while everyone dances. Yep, this movie would have ended with the same dance party ending trope seen in too many animated movies. In a mid-credit scene, the gang, along with Ami, Yumi, and Kaz, order ice cream from Cookie Stan, who intends to raise money to buy a Nintendo Switch. Oh, and a user named Pinky Starlight, who at the time was called Pink Gixie, makes a cameo in this scene where I literally blow up a phone that she is holding. This user attacked me in 2019 for hating the Fairly Odd Parents, which I assume she is a fan of. She is the main antagonist of the Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier episode The Rating Contest, where she competed against me and Javier to outdo each other's videos in terms of ratings, and her channel getting terminated at the end is my payback on her for being salty. I wasn't aware of what the phrase blowing up our phones meant when I made the scene. In fact, it took me until I was drastically editing the script of this video to find out what the phrase really means. The film features songs performed by Puffy Amiyumi. The voice cast consists of me as my animated caricature, Joey as Javier and Austin, Lisa as Denise, David as the Furby 88, Eric as Red Bird, Belle as Michaela, Allison as Alex, and Microsoft Sam as Robo. The film's animation became less simplistic as it progressed due to my increasing experience with Powtoon during production. On May 20th, 2018, the film was delayed to March 1st, 2019 to allow more time to work on the film, the first of many delays that this movie would face. The film was put on hold until December 2018. On December 31st, 2018, the film was delayed again to June 5th, 2020. On to my overall thoughts on the original version of the movie. This movie is just an incredibly generic story about too many heroes saving the world from impending doom, meeting new characters along the way who agreed to help them out on their mission, yada yada blah blah blah. And Alex was a weak, bratty villain with a petty motive. Her first line is literally her angrily going on about how she hates everyone, as if the movie is an extended grounded video.
Man, I really hate everyone. Because they keep liking what I hate, and they keep hating me, and the shows I like.
The writing of the movie is just monumentally atrocious, probably on the same level of messy writing as the Emoji Movie. Or maybe even worse. There are too many heroes with a total of 7, and they all lack any sort of personality or development. There aren't any messages in the movie either. These flaws carried over to the final film. There is the generic never give up message, but other than that there are no morals. There are some things in the finished product of the movie that I'm not satisfied with. Going back to the old version, the 6 Island plot feels like I'm just trying to pad out the runtime with something that feels like it came out of Dora the Explorer or a Super Mario game. Speaking of Dora, this scene.
Can you find Diana the Explorer? Where? There it is.
LOL. Nice reference.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Great, we got a stupid Dora clicker reference. Can we get a scene where someone has to take a shit in the outdoors next?
Of course I have to poo.
I'm sorry you had to see that. May I continue? The pacing sucks. Too many frames are on screen much longer than they should be, like when the gang got blasted into the dark world because I wasn't aware of Powtoon's A to B tool. When Alex begins her plan to rule the world, she asks Robo to draw how they would destroy the world first so that she could print it out and take the paper with her. This thing serves no purpose other than being a lazy plot device. When Alex blasted through the air at maximum speed in her rocket shoes, she lost her grip on the paper, and it just so happened to fly through a window into my house, which shouldn't have been possible since she was flying too close to the ground. After falling and getting stuck underground, FunFan23 is alerted to my whereabouts.
Oh no, it's a boy in need of rescuing.
It's a big strong man in need of rescuing.
It wasn't until I got stuck that his alarm went off. No other people, just me. Alex put the whole world in danger and likely even killed tons of innocent people, and the only person on the entire planet that made FunFan's human protection system alarm go off was me.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
And for some reason, he wasn't aware of all the mayhem going on outside until he stepped out of his house to get some McDonald's.
I am going to get some McDonald's.
So he probably didn't even hear any of those explosions and buildings collapsing. Not only is the writing laughably bad, there are also some errors in the film. Now, for a movie created on an animation platform, this comes as no surprise, but good lord are this movie's errors so obvious. Some sound effects are out of sync with the animation, like when I crashed through a window in the Omoniyi Network headquarters. When we find Marcus Riley, Denise kicks him into the air and he says,
No, 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 V.
Yeah, you can tell by that V that I just copy-pasted the word no a bunch of times, accidentally added said letter, and put the audio into the movie like it was nothing.
No, 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 no.
A similar error occurs when FunFan23 saves me for being crushed by my house.
I'm done, let's get out of here! Exclamation.
Some of the characters' voices change at certain points in the movie. Robo's voice changes from a Microsoft Sam sound-alike to the actual Microsoft Sam.
That's a great idea.
This movie's logic also makes zero sense. No one inside Powtoon theaters would have survived an explosion of this size, but somehow, all of the main characters do. How did they withstand this? And what happened to the other people inside the building? Did they perish and not the gang because they're immortal? Is that why the gang survived the launch into space? Or were they the only people left in the building? And if they are immortal, why did Denise worry about them losing their lives if the gang crashes? Why does this movie raise so many questions? The area that the crew goes into to watch my presentation of Alex's plans just fades in out of nowhere and disappears once they exit it. The film does nothing to hide the twist that Drinky and Drunky are really Ami and Yumi. Not only is it way too obvious right off the bat, but when they introduce themselves to the gang, the Furby88 even says this line.
I'm sorry, but we don't need the help from puffy Amiyumi imitations.
And when they would reveal their true identities at the end, the gang would be surprised. Jesus Christ, who wrote this flaming pile of slop? Oh wait, it's this dumb fuck. And why are they taking on these secret identities anyway other than shoehorning more puffy Amiyumi elements into the story? There was one point where I was planning to throw Steven Universe into the mix since the character is from the series of the same name on Cartoon Network, a unit of Warner Bros. Discovery, which is also the parent of the film's distributor Warner Bros. Pictures. What is this, a spiritual spin-off of Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue? The live action sequences that I recorded back when I used non-touchscreen Chromebooks have bad camera work, a crappy resolution, and a rough frame rate. There are a lot of scenes in the movie that padded the runtime, like the long pauses in the buffet scene, the use of gameplay from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and the inclusion of a video from Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi Rules 2001. The movie also had too much product placement, like the Wii, the Atari 2600, the Wii U, the Game Boy Advance, and Mega Bloks. The most blatant form of product placement in the movie was when Javier and the Furby88 were in the Kaznapped game, which is equivalent to the Candy Crush and Just Dances in the Emoji Movie. There's even a pointless scene where Javier briefly plays the game on his GBA. Why?
Because product placement!
In the mid-credits scene, Cookie holds up a picture of a Nintendo Switch. Other references include the 2006 Disney logo playing on the TV in Mega Block City, Alex crashing into the Sony Interactive Entertainment headquarters, clips from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, 2009's Astro Boy, Smurfs The Lost Village, Family Guy, The Incredibles, and a cutscene from Super Paper Mario. Ironically, the most gullible person in the team is me, the leader. In fact, it doesn't even feel like I'm the leader. Denise is the one who identifies most of the worlds as they enter them, which kinda makes her the leader rather than me, and most of the time, I'm behind other people. Many scenes tried to cram in so many characters at once as if leaving just one important character out of a shot would make people go, "What? Where did it go?" My voice acting is noticeably bad too. Just listen to these lines I recorded.
He can tell that someone's in danger because his alarm will sound and it will tell him where the person is in danger. Then he'll fly there and save the person who's in trouble. Ah! Whoa! No! Hey! Stop it, you piece of junk! No! No! Oh no! One more and I'm dead.
And I cannot forget, or probably can forget, the worst part of this entire movie, the total drama-rama clip. I wake up to find myself in the Elimination Center scene in my character elimination series. The total drama-rama clip comes in after a video where I tell the viewers that the other users are in another area of the world doing the exact same thing as the total drama-rama characters in the clip due to
Powtoon Wars, where you can do any silly thing in your Powtoons.
The clip is then shown again, but in reverse. I don't know why I made this scene, I just felt like it. And you know what makes this scene even worse? What makes this scene so mind-numbingly stupid? The scene that is the cherry on top of the sundae? This line.
Guys, what's with all the drama-rama? Drama-rama, drama-rama, drama-rama. What's with all the drama?
Wow! Just wow! This is one of the worst things I have ever made on Powtoon! The story is beyond generic, the animation is too simplistic, the characters are empty, the product placement is through the roof even though I don't make money off of YouTube, my voice acting is bad, the pacing is tedious, the errors are so obvious, the humor is cringe, it has a complete disregard for logic, this movie is just a complete mess in every way! I'm really glad that this wasn't the final product of the movie because this would have been an embarrassment. What do I rate it? Story, 1 out of 10. Animation, 3 out of 10. Characters, 2 out of 10. Overall, 2 out of 10. Seal of garbage!
It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my freaking life!
But then again, I was 10 to 11 years old when making this, so of course the writing is so bad. If version 1 of the movie was the final product, people would have reacted like,
"Wow, that was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen."
Hope you enjoyed my little rant on this. Now let's get into version 2 of the film. In May 2019, because of my dissatisfaction with how the film was turning out, the film underwent a major change. Omoniyi Adenusi the movie was renamed Omoniyi Adenusi Powtoon Wars, and the story was rewritten. Instead of attempting to rule the world, Alex, who is now redesigned, plans to blow up Powtoon City, which would result in the discontinuation of Powtoon itself. Javier, Denise and I had to stop her and save the website. As a result, I had to start almost entirely from scratch. The only part of the old version that remained was the intro with me getting breakfast and going outside. This, however, was altered to include more animation and a scene where I head into an animation studio. 20th Century Fox, the distributor of the cancelled Austin Dickerson movie, was named the new distributor of Powtoon Wars, replacing Warner Brothers. The number of heroes was also reduced from 7 to 3, me, Javier, and Denise. I continued to work on this movie throughout June 2019. A sneak peek of the film was shown in the 18th and final episode of my character elimination series in honor of the show's first anniversary. On July 2nd, 2019, I announced a new series in the works called The Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier, and I took a break from working on Powtoon Wars in favor of the show. Besides these two projects, I also worked on a special in October 2019 to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Hi Hi Puffy Yumi, which has remained incomplete. In the special, Yumi and Kaz celebrate Ami's birthday with many other characters from the original series. It was inspired by the SpongeBob SquarePants special SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, which premiered in July that year and celebrated the 20th anniversary of the series. I went back to working on the film in November 2019. Production once again came to a halt the following month when my Chromebook charger stopped working, so my Chromebook was dead for the entirety of my winter break and I had to rely more on my phone to use the internet. Not only was I not able to make any more progress on the movie for that time being, but I also wasn't able to upload to my channel as much. I uploaded a few videos to my channel during this time. One of them was a video where I announced that I would be seeing Spies in Disguise on December 28th. Once I got a new charger by the beginning of the second semester, production continued. On January 12th, 2020, while filming a video for a scene in the film, I cracked my phone screen. In that particular scene, the gang encounters a group of 4 doors. The 4th door originally led to a video of me riding my scooter and ramming into the camera with it. The impact put a crack on the top of the screen. As a result, I changed the scene to have the 4th door lead to a replica of Powtoon City instead. A new trailer for the film was uploaded in February 2020, but that gave away nearly the entire film, so once again it was deleted. Here is that trailer.
The glitching. It happened again! You got to help us save Powtoon. It's being hacked by someone.
Oh, I know Powtoon. The website that you do most of your videos on.
Yes?
Well, you guys should bring what you need, because it's going to be quite a long ride from here to London.
Hi. Check out our new video.
Well, okay.
Remember when training looked like this? Employees actually expected you to be boring. But that's history. Trainers, now is your time to
Again? Powtoon is glitching out very badly.
You're telling me. I'm trying to make a decent Powtoon, but I can't because of this terrible glitch.
That's actually why we came here, sir. We are going to save Powtoon.
Well, here we are, guys. Powtoon.
I've been on Powtoon, but never been inside it.
You are not going anywhere. Robo, launch V3 far, far away.
Launch 165, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Unfinished Powtoon.
Ejected Powtoon.
Yes. I just purchased Toonflix. Now I can watch everything Powtoon anytime. Hooray. Dang nabbit.
Later that month, Powtoon Wars underwent its longest production hiatus yet when I temporarily left the film to focus heavily on the adventures of Omoniyi and Javier. On April 18, 2020, the film was once again delayed from June 5, 2020 to July 9, 2021, when we were already close to its release. Throughout the rest of 2020, I mostly ignored the film, but I did plan an episode of The Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier called Movie Away, where my friends and I worked together to make Omoniyi Adenusi Powtoon Wars. In December 2020, the show was cancelled and I returned to the movie, thus ending its hiatus after 10 months. When production on Powtoon Wars resumed, I removed Emma Iverson, Justin Iverson, and the other kids in Powtoon's character family to school, formerly called The Office, for reasons related to my show, and added a new scene where Javier, Denise, and I find a box containing those characters in the Asylum of Confusion. On January 23rd, 2021, I worked on the movie for the entire day. I played Super Paper Mario and went back to work on the movie. On January 24th, the film was completed and I exported it through Clipchamp. The film had a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes and 33 seconds. However, there were a lot of errors, so I had to go back and fix them. Because I wasn't in the mood to spend even more of my time fixing more errors, I stopped working on it for a few months. I created a new short called Time Stoppers, and as soon as I completed it, I took a 3-month break from Powtoon in February 2021 due to technical problems. In April 2021, the movie was pushed back one final time to May 27, 2022. Production on Powtoon Wars once again resumed in May 2021. New scenes were added, some dialogue was changed, and errors were fixed. In July, I got a message from YouTube saying that if I am marked under 18 by my administrator, my channel would be untied from my school account and subsequently deleted. So on August 4th, I began exporting the movie earlier than I had planned to, but couldn't due to problems with Clipchamp. On December 20th, 2021, the first official trailer for Powtoon Wars was released. I continued to work on the film in 2022. Yes, I know I said in my thoughts on 2021 video that I had completed the movie. I shouldn't have said that until I was completely satisfied with how the movie turned out.
I have finished Omoniyi Adenusi, Powtoon Wars. The movie will be out on May 27th.
On March 25th, 2022, I started working on the film's second trailer, which was released 4 days later. As time approached the film's long-awaited release, I uploaded TV spots and a clip from the movie. The film finally graced YouTube on April 29th as a scheduled premiere. And finally, May 27, opening day! After 4 years in the making, the 94-minute Omoniyi Adenusi Powtoon Wars was finally ready to premiere on YouTube. And it went all wrong. Just hours before the film's premiere, I found a huge error in the film that prompted me to go back and fix it. I then decided to just save time by trimming out the part with the error. YouTube could not finish processing this edit in time, so as a result, the premiere did not start. Yeah, I know, I've already done this gag 4 times before. It has probably already gotten old at this point. This is why you don't make a movie using a website intended for presentations, because it results in frustrating errors like this. The movie was re-uploaded with a premiere time of 9:30 p.m. During the premiere, I left comments in the live chat about scenes in the movie, and the user Alex Does Go Animate or 80G Studios left comments as well. Now let's get into the details of this movie. The movie starts off the same way as the first version of the movie. The idea then came to me to make a special video for my 5th anniversary. Meanwhile, Alex Minudaka tries to make a video on Powtoon but fails every time, so she views the website as a nuisance and therefore plans to destroy it. Robo, who has had experience with Powtoon and finds it to be a great website to use, questions her plan. Alex travels to the Powtoon headquarters in London, where she hacks into a computer to get inside the website. Due to Alex tampering with the website's internal programming, it starts glitching out on multiple occasions. Javier and I team up with my long unseen friend Denise to stop Alex. First, we fight her in the Powtoon candy store, resulting in the building collapsing. Alex launches us into an endless void called the Asylum of Confusion, allowing her to carry out her plan. By the time we make it out, most of Powtoon City is destroyed and the sky is orange, similar to the first version of the movie. A timer installed by Alex displays the amount of time left until Powtoon City is blown up by explosives underground. Alex turns Robo into the Iron Giant, and we short-circuit him by shooting water at him with help from other Powtoon City residents. The timer is stopped, Robo is defeated, Alex is arrested, and Powtoon City restores itself to normal. I present my 5th anniversary video to Powtoon City, and Robo gives us a button that creates portals to the city, which we use to go back to the city the next day. One night, in May 2019, when I was going to bed, I thought of the idea to implement glitchy sequences into the film. Here is the first glitch sequence I made in slow motion. Multiple Powtoon elements were placed onto different frames. These appear throughout the film and are capable of hiding Easter eggs. I also used Clipchamp, a video editor that I started using in August 2019 after an entire summer break of using Movely for my videos to make these glitches. The best website I used to create these was Pixlr. Pixlr was very handy for creating distorted frames for the movie, as well as my third short, Glitch Attack. I also used it for the film's second poster. To design them, I used Pixlr's shape cutout feature and make use of many different Pixlr features to distort the image. In 2018, I started using a character designer called Peanutize Me, a tie-in to the 2015 film The Peanuts movie, to design characters for my Powtoons. The first character I created for use in my Powtoons was Alex Minudaka, who appeared in my first Powtoon video, Alex Mulholland OS, which I later retitled Alex Minudaka OS.
Would you like to install Mulholland OS? No way. Alex Mulholland is a bad person, so I'm gonna click no. What the? Oh no. It's Alex Mulholland.
Peanutize Me played a big role in the production of episodes of The Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier. I created a lot of characters for that show, including Suzanne Erickson, Susie Campbell, and Lauren Lawrence. I used the website for both versions of Powtoon Wars. I created a few characters for the film, like an animated version of Powtoon CEO Ilias Batalnik. I used Peanutize Me for a few years before the site went down due to the owners failing to renew the domain. Every time I tried to get to the website, I got an error message. It wouldn't be until April 2022 that the website would now redirect to Disney's website, similar to Blue Sky's website from June 2021 to August 2024. Luckily, there is a fan archive of the website, which I used to rebuild Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier characters from my history video on the show. After the credits, a clip from the Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier episode Lorinators is shown, but without the music. So, what do I think of this movie? I consider Powtoon Wars to be a pretty solid effort from me, much better and lighter on product placement than the first version of the movie. My favorite part of the movie is the climax, where we fight Robo and stop the bomb timer. However, this movie does have its flaws. The story is less generic than the original version of the movie, but some of the writing sucks. The main characters still have no personality or development, and Alex still has a pathetic motivation. She tries to destroy Powtoon all because the website's errors prevented her from making one single video. Robo assumes that Alex is having so much trouble on Powtoon because the website knows about her online activity after I made Alex Minudaka OS, and they refuse to let her use the website easily as consequence. All because of one video from some random user. God, this is such top tier writing. Why didn't I get an Oscar nomination? Instead of a bus, we should have taken a plane to London. We wouldn't have been able to make it there by bus because the United Kingdom is on the continent of Europe, not North America. Idiot. There are some errors, including one where the city looks different after the damage is reversed. The sign is brown, it uses the 2014 Powtoon logo, the TV screen on the second building is lower, and the Powtoon candy store sign uses the 2018 Powtoon logo. This was an early design of the city that was tweaked in 2022 to have the top of the sign red and the legs blue, among other changes. There is still product placement, though not on the same level as the old movie, like the Nintendo Switch. There are instances where my voice is higher due to them being recorded when I was 11 and 12 years old.
Ha! You missed! I should've knew that was gonna happen. Oh no! We need to get her out of there! Not quite. Everything is white, so it makes it hard to tell what's in the way. We've been stuck here for an hour and 30 minutes. We're back to where we started, aren't we?
Another thing about this movie that I'm not satisfied with is the end credits. Adding a story by credit was redundant since I was already billed as the writer of the film. Much of the first half of the credits was copied over from Blue Sky Studios' Ferdinand, and much of the second half was copied over from Spies in Disguise, but with different names. I didn't know about end credits of animated movies as much back then as I do now. The credits in the second half weren't aligned correctly. If I were to redo it, this is what it would look like. Also, this movie wasn't mixed as Skywalker sound. Stop lying! There's also a typo in the copyright disclaimer. Pick shoot. Omoniyi Adenusi Powtoon Wars served as my final project on Powtoon before I left the website in September 2022. 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD releases followed on July 19th. Well, in an alternate universe, don't go looking for a YouTuber movie on Amazon or eBay. I tried looking for Go Animate the Movie on DVD on eBay when I was 7 years old in 2015 because I thought this copy shown by KBJ in one of his videos was legitimate. Powtoon Wars was the only film from Powtoon Films. In June 2021, I started developing the studio's second feature film, Nelson Family Vacation, based on an idea I had on March 16, 2020, when I was officially quarantined due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the film, an overworked mother and her husband take their kids on a road trip to Las Vegas. Due to my departure from Powtoon, the film was cancelled. I posted the remnant of the film on September 9th, 2022, the day I left the website. Other films that I considered include The Evil Administrator, a movie based on the presumably obscure Oh Brother series of comics by Bob Weber Jr. and Jay Steffens, which you've probably heard of if you've ever used MobiMax.
This guy stinks!
Meme Island, no, I'm not joking. Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi Rock On, a movie based on the PBS Kids series Maya and Miguel, Heroes at Work, Powtoon Anniversary, and a spin-off movie featuring Javier Corona Lopez. The company remained dormant until it was finally shut down on May 28, 2025. The studio had been inactive since the film's release due to my retirement from Powtoon, so there was no point in keeping the name alive. I closed down Omoniyi Toons Studios and Omoniyi Sprout Animation Studios in 2022 and 2025 respectively due to inactivity as well. To this day, Powtoon Wars remains as the only movie I've made for this channel. Before I wrap up this video, I would like to get into some more trivia about this movie. In 2018, I considered moving production on the film to another website, Movely. Deleted scenes include me watching Hanazuki Full of Treasures on TV, me introducing myself to the audience, Javier going to a pool party, and Denise boarding up the third door in the asylum. When Javier and I entered Denise's house, originally her TV was playing a scene from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. At one point, Denise watches version 1 of the Omoniyi Adenusi movie on her tablet. Craig and Jesse Pokali from my show's episode The Hotel make a cameo in my classroom at the beginning of the movie. If you look closely, you can see that the text that I type on my screen is Omoniyi Adenusi 3rd Anniversary. At the time I recorded this, the movie was still scheduled for June 5th, 2020, coinciding with my channel's 3rd anniversary. Before the trio goes into a cup in my kitchen, you can see a Bart Simpson bottle, which I got from a garage sale in 2017 and don't have anymore. The guy whose computer gets destroyed due to the shockwave generated by Robo's energy blast is actually Charlie, the same guy who welcomes Javier to Mega Block City in version 1. The scene where Javier and I fight Robo with health bars shown above is similar to the fight against Alex and Robo in the old movie. During the news report on Powtoon City being saved, Alex says in the police car that she is planning to destroy the world and be the ruler of the earth, a reference to her evil plans in version 1.
When I get out of jail, I am thinking of destroying the world and being the ruler of the earth someday because I hate everyone. And I am absolutely going to destroy you, Robo. Let's destroy the world and be the ruler of the earth.
In the Powtoon candy store, the song Kid in a Candy Store by JoJo Siwa can be heard. After watching the premiere of JoJo's DREAM concert on Nickelodeon on November 22, 2019, it gave me the idea to put one of her songs into the movie. When the trio enters what seems to be the final area in the asylum, the track Red Brick Funk from APM Music plays. Originally, I used This Will Be an Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole before switching to Blank Space by Taylor Swift. And I forgot to remove the latter song from the end credits, god damn it. Overall, working on this movie was a bit of a pain, but even despite Powtoon's stupidity, I managed to finally release it after 4 years. As for version 1, well, after everything I talked about it, all I ask from you is to just be glad that that wasn't the movie you got. Powtoon Wars is the only movie I've made for this channel. I have no plans to revive Powtoon films because I no longer use Powtoon, and I don't plan to look for another animation website to continue working on Nelson Family Vacation because I already tried to do that to make a new Adventures of Omoniyi and Javier short and failed. The movie may be flawed, but for a video to act as a send-off to my era with Powtoon even if it wasn't meant to be, it did its job well. This video has been in limbo for months. It was meant to come out last year, but due to audio errors caused by my editor when I exported the first part of the video, I searched for better editors to continue producing the video until the project was eventually put to a halt. Over time, I would go and change up the script to include more details and comedic gags. My next history video will be on my first series created for YouTube, Super Mario the Series. It will premiere on March 6th next year in light of the release of the Mario movie sequel, or Super Mario World if that's what it's really called. The movie is available to watch on my channel, and just like the adventures of Omoniyi and Javier, you can check out the movie's page on my wiki, link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.
A TV.
Denise, no. That could be a trap.
It's a trap! Come on, let's advance.
Guys, what's with all the drama-rama?